Hi, you're going to love this episode of Ask a Deal Lawyer Certified Coach. First thing I want you to do is subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's a very, very exciting channel. But more importantly, today's episode is about Tiger Woods and his comeback. You're going to enjoy it. We talk about the ups and downs, the haters, the lovers, and what we can learn from his comeback and the process that we all need to have in our lives. Enjoy. PJ, we have an interesting topic, I think, and you got to let me know whether or not it's okay to talk about this.
Okay.
And what I want to talk about, or what you may want to talk about as well, is Tiger Woods, the comeback.
Oh, yeah.
Can you let me be great?
Let's do that.
Can you let him be great?
Yeah, let's talk about that, because I think as Americans, we love a comeback story. We love to see the underdog come back and win. So this fits with all the movies we watch over and over again. So yeah, let's talk about them.
Yeah, and so what's so interesting about this, and we can get into all the data behind his comeback and the ups and downs and everything, and usually everybody's excited about the comeback, PJ, and I would say a super majority of people are not. Are excited about it, but then there's also another group that are not necessarily so excited about this comeback.
Tiger, though, was somebody who stepped onto the scene in 1997. He won the Masters at age 20 by 12 shots. That's how far ahead he was than everybody else, to let people know that how you view a golfer is starting to change a little bit. And now, how far could this kid go? And then he falls from grace many years after that.
Yeah.
And then he has to try to come back. He has issues, injuries, all kinds of back
That's
problems, all
right.
kinds of Achilles problems. And nobody thought this guy'd ever win another Masters again. And then yet he does, and he wins by a stroke, but still, he still wins.
Yeah, good morning, y'all. Good morning, y'all. We are talking about Tiger Woods, the comeback. Can we be great? Let us be great. And comebacks in general. And please like, please share, please comment, send your comments in. And so that's exactly right. Tiger Woods created a whole new demographic of golf lovers.
Yeah.
If there were no Tiger Woods, I probably would not be so much in love with golf, because let's face it, golf in many ways has been a sport where it was sort of an elite sport where only a few could take part in it. And you didn't necessarily feel comfortable playing the sport, as a person of color, because you're like, who's out there doing it? And so then all of a sudden, this guy named Tiger Woods comes on the scene, and he had, the early videos of him being on the Tonight Show, I guess with his dad. He was like 4 or 5 years old doing stuff, and so this stuff was just building up over the years and everything. And so when he came out there and he started winning, it really caused a whole new market of golf participants to come out there, for sure. Hey, good morning, good morning.
And we'll do this from time to time. We'll read live comments. So we want to encourage you, if you have a thought or a comment or something you'd like for us to address while we're doing this, this is live. So certainly feel
it certainly is. And this thing is still sideways. We're going to have to go along with it for right now. But I'll produce a video of this as well. And so you'll be able to look on my YouTube page. But I thank you for joining. And please keep listening in. And please share your comments. But so, yeah. So he gets out there and he starts playing. And then literally, that's what I got out there. I started playing because I started watching Tiger Woods, and I know a lot of other people did the same thing.
Yeah.
And so when he was winning, it was something incredible to watch, because he did something that other golfers didn't do. He showed emotion on the course.
Yeah.
Which is extremely relatable. Because most of the times when golfers do something or whatever, they stay very calm and still. Yeah. Which is something you have to do playing golf, by the way. You can't allow your emotion to get in the way of the process of a stroke, by the way. And so a golf swing is a process that you want it to be repeatable every single time. So you try to develop some type of a process that you can, no matter what the conditions are and everything, you repeat it every single time. And so emotion and all these other things are out the door. And for somebody to master that and win over and over and over again, when there are so many things that can go wrong in a golf swing.
Oh my goodness.
There are so many things that can go wrong with there's just thousands of things, but to keep winning over and over again is just incredible.
Yeah, and again, we love this because whenever you see sports, and there's some who would argue whether golf is a sport or not, but when you see
It is a sport. It is a sport. It is a sport.
there's a certain kind of prowess that you have to have, and we love to see people who look normal, people who look like an everyday Joe if
Yeah.
you've never heard of them before,
Yeah.
all of a sudden come in and give a command performance, but not just once, twice, 3 times more. So we talk about the Brady effect. We talk about
Yeah.
the Jordan effect. We love it when we see people hit a level of mastery
Yes.
that it just gives you hope. It makes you think, well, man, that could be me if I actually put myself into that same mental state that it took to do this.
You just took the word right out. Like, it's a mindset
Yes, it is.
that you have to have, and this mindset is it's transferable. So you can be great at golf, and the same sort of mindset you have to have can be transferred to other fields of endeavor, of human endeavor.
Wow,
for sure.
That's exactly right. And to do this goes back to our jobs, because basically, if you're in a job where you're judged by your performance, and most of us are,
Yeah.
then we're very much like the athlete because they're judged by their performance. And
Yeah.
so, mental toughness. This is a struggle because those who are the athletes are the most mentally strong. And by the way, they hire mental health coaches, a lot of them, to help them keep their mind on track. But the idea that you can be mentally tough is pretty exciting too. I mean, think about it. That you can block out the distractions, the disruptions, and just blaze a path.
Well, and so PJ, so how does one do that?
Yeah, yeah, no, I love it. We got to ask, right? So when it comes to mental toughness, if you guys want to take notes, this is a perfect time to do this, or pull out your phones, whatever. But
I'm going to take notes.
so mental toughness is a skill set. First of all, let me put that out there. And skill sets
Okay.
can be learned. They can be taught by people who are skilled to other folks. So that's the first thing. So you don't have to necessarily just be born with it.
Right.
It is a skill set. We have to say that first.
Thank you.
Now,
Thank you.
the other thing is, how do mentally tough people get through, or how do they win? This is how they win. One of the things that you'll see a hallmark of a mentally tough person is that they're able to rebound quickly. And that's the more obvious one, but you'll see that they'll run into a problem, but it doesn't seem to deter them. They just keep going. The second thing is they don't relive their mistakes over and over and again. That ruminating is not good. And we know people that's what they do. They focus on the weakness of the mistake all the time rather than the 100 times they actually did this thing right.
And so what's so interesting about that is think about Tiger Woods, for example, here. When he had his crash in so many different ways, where he actually wrecked his car and then allegedly got beat with a club or whatever else. But
She's got a mean swing, I think.
and he crumbled down. There were so many people who would never allow him to forget about that.
Yeah.
In fact, there are people on the golf course to this day that will sometimes have on the course will have a picture of his mugshot. Can you imagine you're out there trying to go to hole number 8, go to the tee box.
Yeah.
You look over and somebody has a shirt on with your mugshot on it. Oh, are you kidding me?
That's crazy.
Do you because golf is so mental, and to do something like that to somebody. I knew somebody when I played golf with him, and I would like say I knew things that would kind of get him unnerved, and I would keep saying it, and he would just fall apart. It's terrible. Sometimes we do that on golf. It's fun, but in any event, can you imagine? Can you imagine that?
No, and I think that's horrible. The intent of that is really bad, and it's just somebody who just like I'm just anti. I'm just going to show up. I'm going to show up. I'm the number one president of the Tiger Woods hating fan club, I guess. So that's pretty bad when you show up like that. There's 2 other things that you'll also see, Steve, and that is people who are mentally strong. They don't berate themselves. Like you'll hear some people they'll bump their toe and they'll go, "Oh, stupid, come on." In fact, my stepdad does that a lot. And I'm just like, that's weird that you're talking to yourself. One.
And what you're saying. Right.
So mentally strong people don't do that. And then the last thing is, and here's what they do. What mentally strong people, mentally tough people do is they focus on what I can do next.
Yes.
They say, okay, so this is just feedback. So what am I going to do now?
How do I use this information?
Yes.
And for purposes of edification and improvement and enhance things moving forward?
That's correct.
That's very powerful. Thank you, BJ. And again, y'all, thank you for joining. We're talking about the comeback, how to do so, mental toughness, Tiger Woods. So when we have setbacks and we fall down, and we all do,
Truly.
it can be very easy to beat oneself up, you know.
Correct.
And then the other thing is, there are many times when you're never ever going to make everybody happy. You know, there are people just before we started this show that will never give Tiger Woods a pass for one reason or other. And so let's just, since we talk about these type of topics here
Yes, we do.
on this show, you know, Tiger Woods, one of his issues is that sometimes he doesn't identify himself, or some people feel that he doesn't identify himself as being black, or he might date somebody who is not black, and so this is it's a sensitive issue in the black community and other communities as well. It's like, wait a minute, why are you doing that? Do you not recognize your heritage? Do you not believe you're good enough, or other people are good enough? And so it's a very sensitive area, and it's something, you know, that you have to talk about, because I hear about it all the time, and yet for some reason it doesn't bother me. It doesn't bother me, but it bothers other people. And you know, I don't know what are your thoughts about that, PJ?
Well, I do think that's interesting when people can't separate the feat from the actual person themselves and what they've done. To me, if you've done something great, you've done something great.
Yeah.
I don't watch sports just because I think you're this great moral citizen, or that you believe the precepts and concepts that I believe.
Yeah.
I watch it to say, you know, how did you do that? How did you keep that mental toughness to do this? Now, off the field, if you're trying to run for Citizen of the Year and all this stuff, and you're living a lie, obviously I can't get behind that. I can't co-sign that check at all. But I do find it interesting when people do that, and I think there's a rejection piece that people feel. They feel like if he does that, in some way he's rejecting me, so therefore I can't get on his bandwagon.
Yeah, and that's real. You know, we as much as we hate haters, we can all be haters at some point. True. So we can be sitting back and we're watching something, and we're like, oh, that mofo, it did it again. Oh, and part of it is like, maybe we take it personal. We think somehow we are being rejected by them, and so when we have those type of feelings, we have to sort of, you know, say, wait a minute, I'm feeling something like this. I need to maybe address it and think about it. And not saying it's right or wrong or anything like that, but you've got to be careful, because that can turn into other things as well, I think.
That's true. That's true. And then there will be some that may have a problem with the idea that, you know, his wife is of a different nationality, even though he's two different, you know, ethnicities together. Will have a problem because, you know, we feel like we own him, so since we own him, you should be doing what we think you should do. So we impugn what our thoughts are onto someone else. So it's
yes
from that perspective. But then, you know,
well, and Shirley's saying it's like his personal life has nothing to do with what he does on the golf course. And so
now that's interesting too.
And so I agree with that, but there's also this other aspect of this.
Okay.
I think when you become extremely successful at things and you're doing a lot of good things, I do also think you have a little bit of an obligation to sort of carry yourself in a certain kind of way, because lots of times people are saying, I am not a role model. I'm not a role model. And you know, I struggle with this, but the deal is, you sort of are. You are.
Yeah.
You are.
Sure.
And so, and to Tiger's credit, I will say this: he's cleaned up his act quite a bit.
Surely.
I mean, because he was a certified mess. He
Absolutely.
was a mess, and we can all be messes at time and everything. But you don't hear about him doing all this kind of, you know, crazy stuff or whatever. I don't know exactly who he's dating right now or whatever.
Right.
But what I did see was that when he finished and he was walking off that course, his son running up to him and giving him a hug and everything like that. Oh my God, that was such a powerful moment.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Yeah, you know.
No, I think that's fair, and I think we have to think about this. This is a man who was completely on top, right, at a young age. So he had many more years of just, if he stayed a certain course. Divorce is one of the top 5 most traumatic things that happens to a person in their lifetime. Now having a public divorce where everybody knows your business because it's being reported on all the time. Then you have physical body problems that will then affect you playing a sport.
Yeah.
Because if your body ain't healthy, then you're not going to play very well.
Yeah.
And you're still relatively young when all this is going on.
Yes.
And then that wonderful name, all these sponsors dropped you real quickly.
Yes.
Except for Nike, I think was the only one that didn't. They dropped you because they say you are not the corporate citizen that we thought you were. And so this is what this guy is building back from. And then there were people thinking because of the Achilles tear
Yeah.
and then the back issues that he had, they said there's no way this guy will ever be able to go in and win another Masters. So then the thought process then comes, what do you have to be thinking? You know how many times he has to shoot down all the negative stuff that's hitting him, the imposter syndrome that he must have had.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And yet he kept pushing forward.
It's incredible. Can I take
Yes.
a moment to pause on one thing?
Yes.
I rarely ever. I love our former First Lady Michelle Obama.
Okay.
But she said something just a day before ago or whatever, where she compared Trump and saying being under Trump is like being with divorced dad, and I understand sort of the like, okay, you may not agree with how Trump has run the country, and in many ways I don't, and some things I do. But the comment was a little off. It was probably not appropriate because obviously about 50% of society here in America has gone through a divorce. And back to your point, Tiger Woods had to go through that, these other different things, and still maintain this mental toughness or rebuild.
Yes.
A complete sort of makeover. He had to redo his swing. He had
Yes.
all these various coaches, and coaching
That's
is
right.
so important.
Yes, it is.
And to have the fortitude to all these haters around him and be able to perform the way he's been performing and to win the Masters and all the hype and everything, your emotions can get you're winning, you're doing well. That's sometimes people get tripped up doing that. You're like, oh my God, it's so good, and then you screw up. And he didn't do that.
No,
and
he didn't.
And it's a process.
It is a process. It's a very big one. And so I'll give you guys a fancy, I guess, social psychology word here, and it's two words. It's called refocusing cue. There's certain cue points. So if you can think about a tape, you can cue it at a certain place to play what you want it to play, that sort of thing. Well, think about this. So there's a way to refocus, because this is what we're talking about. Tiger was able to refocus.
That's right.
Despite what was going on.
That's right.
So when it comes to refocusing cue, it's usually some words that you say. Because remember, what you say is powerful.
Yeah.
Which is why and as attorneys, we're very good at wordsmithing and knowing how to set things up as
we
people.
should. We should. But
Right? And then somebody on my side who's doing the neuroscience and the behavioral sciences, how you frame things and what you believe is important. So a refocusing cue is, and you'll see this in mentally tough people, they'll say things like this when bad stuff happens. Next. And they mean it. In other words, not only is it next, but they're saying, let it go, no one's perfect, and what I do next is what matters most.
Can I tell you
Please,
something also here,
take that.
PJ? So
Refocusing
when I'm on the golf course and when I'm at my best, I will tell you what happens.
Okay.
I have like a 3 or 4 part thing I go through in my mind every single time.
Really? Okay.
And repeat it every single
So
time.
you got a script.
A script, and
mental script.
A mental script, and it's part visualization. I don't want to repeat everything because y'all will take all my secrets, But in any event, when you have this refocusing, because it is so easy to think about that last shot.
Yes, it is.
Where you blow an easy putt, and
Yes.
you could replay that in your mind over and over and over again. And you know what'll happen? You'll keep just stumbling,
That's right.
And so then if okay, when I do this and I repeat this, the likelihood of success is infinitely more likely. And so that is what I'm sure that's part of what Tiger Woods probably does, but a lot of people do this refocusing the cue. I think that's brilliant, and that applies in negotiations.
Tell us, right? Because there's been a time, Steve, where you didn't make the best argument up front and you starting to get killed, and then you were able to come back because you saw something, a loophole that you didn't see before.
That's right.
Was there
That's
a
right.
chance in negotiation where that happened?
Absolutely. One of the key things when you're negotiating or doing just about anything is that you have to recalibrate. And you have to also get back to basics. And so that's why in a process of negotiation, I really do believe in that you need to be writing down your negotiation goals, and you got to understand what's important in those interests that you have and maybe your counterpart has. And in this process, this journey, there are going to be ups and downs. And there'll be moments where you're like, oh my God, I screwed that up. or I don't know what's going to happen here. And then that's when it's so important to refocus
Yes.
and go back to what you have written down about what is at stake here. What are we really focused on? Because you can get thrown off.
It's true.
There are lots of crafty people out here who are they can flatter you, they can intimidate you, they can do all kinds of things, and the next thing you know, you're signing something you had no intent of signing, or get into an arrangement that it completely doesn't even satisfy what your need is, because you can get thrown off track. And so, absolutely. Or back to with your point, if you go through a process or there's in the negotiation something bad happens, and you don't handle it the right way, it can spiral out of control. Absolutely.
And you lose it. So
yes.
we're getting some
yes.
comments.
Yeah, we're getting some happy, some thumbs up and all that.
That's good.
Awesome.
We've got Melody over here watching, and Rico's watching over here.
Yeah, so and we're talking about Tiger Woods, the comeback, the great comeback, and how to come back, and refocusing, recalibrating, and the process. And so we have we're down to almost 5 minutes, but please please share, please comment, and we'll get back to you on that.
Absolutely.
So just amazing stuff. Amazing stuff.
I think that is incredible, and I think about it. This is what we love. Whenever we go to the movies, because I'm a big movie buff, right? The one thing we want to see is we want to see the protagonist. We see that he's got a special gift, something that's great for him.
Right.
Then we want to see him lose, because if he wins and beats everybody all the time and everything, that's not fun.
Where's the fun in that?
Right? And so then we want to see how is he going to overcome his challenges, and therefore good villains make for a great superhero or a hero or protagonist. Because if the villain really pushes the antagonist really pushes the protagonist to his nth degree, that makes the movie more interesting. Tiger Woods is definitely that. I mean, he had everything you could possibly imagine going wrong from falling from a perch. And then what we want to see is, how do they come back?
Yeah.
Who helps them? How do they recalibrate, like you said earlier? And then we talked about the refocusing cue that you can set inside your mind with the words that you use. And that's what we want to see. And we pay to see that same movie, Steve, over and over and over again.
It never goes out of style. Never goes out of style.
That's right.
Everybody loves a good comeback story.
That's right. And here's the funny thing is, and not funny, but I guess, there'll be a movie made about this.
Absolutely.
Because people are going to want to know, how did he do that, and where did it go? And they're going to want to see, probably get Donald Glover to play Tiger Woods or something,
Well, yeah, and right now, if you on YouTube, there's tons of videos where people have already chronicled his whole his career and the ups and downs and everything, with nice music in the background that kind of gets your heart pumping, and you're just going along with it and everything. It's incredible. And what we need to do is get the takeaway. There's a takeaway from this, and the takeaway is. One, don't be so hard on other people when they make mistakes.
Yeah.
Because
that's a great point.
Because number two, you make mistakes, and then you might be too hard on yourself.
Hot kettle, anybody?
Yeah, and so and so that's where when people get a little overly judgmental. And like, but that guy did this, and or that young lady did this, or whatever, and everything. Careful with that. Careful,
Yeah, and you mentioned this earlier, so we'll throw it out there now. It's just like with Jussie Smollett at this moment. I want to see this kid rebound. I want to see him show that he's learned the lesson of what he was engaged in and what he was involved in. And I want to see him rebound. I want him to see him become a better person because of this, not a worse person.
I would love to see that. And he probably needs a new coach because when his coming back, doing the interview right by the police when he dropped the charges, that didn't help him at all. No. And think about this, y'all. Yeah. Think about this. This is my hope back to negotiation and everything.
Okay.
If in fact Jussie Smollett did all of this because he was trying to get a pay increase. Right. His fear, what I think it is, of negotiating caused a complete
How about that?
Downfall.
I hadn't even tied those together.
I did.
I'm sure you did.
So think about this. Somebody so fearful or intimidated or whatever it may be about negotiation, thinking, okay, this is the way I need to do it. I need to go about it this way. And so the fear, this whole fight or flight syndrome that comes on us in all kinds of different ways, like if a lion is running after you and everything, you're going to feel it and everything. And you, as you should, and you need to run or fight. But that
Or at least
same
be not the slowest person running away from it.
Absolutely, I'm a big believer in
As
that
the
too.
joke goes.
Yeah. I'm a big believer in that. But if you don't understand that syndrome, and you talk about this a lot, and
Yes, the
everything,
imposter
it
syndrome.
can cause you to act out in certain kinds of ways that could be disastrous. That's why it is so important to have a process.
I
Because without one,
Yeah.
you can be subject to all kinds of craziness that you can lose the deal,
Yes.
you can lose your career, you can do all kinds of things. You can humiliate yourself, and so yeah.
Well, and to that point, I'm glad that you brought that up because now I get to talk about imposter syndrome for a second. I love
Yeah.
that. Think about how easy it would be right now for Tiger to fall into imposter syndrome. See, that's also what makes this amazing to me because
Yeah.
he's a candidate that would totally fall into because he could beat himself up with a ton of things that are wrong. But notice he doesn't appear to be suffering from any imposter syndrome, and I think that's amazing because all of us at some point, a level,
Yeah.
do suffer with that. But
Yeah.
he's shown you here that it's possible. So
Yeah.
Tiger now becomes a model of what's possible because
That's
when
right.
you see someone do something, or if someone tells you about something, that's one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have evidence that someone actually did it,
Yes.
that's something.
Yes. So hey folks, we have to wrap up here. This has been a lot
Absolutely.
of fun. This has been a lot of fun. Hey, you can find me on YouTube now. I am at Bold Creations on YouTube, and subscriber and viewership is increasing phenomenally. I would love for you to be there. Lots of content there. You can also find me here on Facebook and on Instagram. And I have the Boss Negotiator School. We'll be releasing some very important information coming up. PJ?
Yeah, absolutely. And when you're not watching Steve's channel, make sure you go to PJ Dunn TV if you want to get
Yes.
those mental supplements. If you want to understand the psychology of how people work and behavior and that sort of thing, this is what I love talking about. And if you want to sign up for some things as well, offerings that I'll be offering later on in the year, this is a good place to get connected and get a
Absolutely.
sense for how that works. I'm also on Twitter, Facebook as well, and also Instagram under that name, PJ Dunn.
So hey, y'all, like, share, tell your friends about us. We really enjoyed being with you today, and so y'all enjoy the rest of your day and be great.
That's right.